I'm Paul Sveinall. I'm the only person who can tell the Black Fiddle story. Because I grew up with the descendants of Fox-Søren, and I've had the cooperation with Dorothy Olsson in USA. The Fox-Søren, he worked in Kristiansand as a fiddle builder and a musician. But the musician paid by the town was jealous, so he had to find another way of living. So he bought a little farm up in Finland called Fleskåsen and settled there. I had one fiddle with him, the brown fiddle, that he rented out to a musician. And that was a way of living. And in addition, he started as a hunter. He hunted 7 bears, 400 foxes, and a lot of wolves. And there was a mystery around that, because he could find the animals without traces. So people began talking about it socially. He rented the brown fiddle to fiddlers, and that was okay. And he intended to make more fiddles, but he didn't have the proper materials. So his wife, she grew furious and accused him for bringing his family in deep poverty. So he laid his head on the table and didn't know what to do. So he prayed, and when he opened his eyes, he saw some fiddle material laying behind. And when he turned back, he saw a mysterious person in the door, someone with only one eye. Well, this was the only material that he had, and he started putting it together. And he covered it with black painting, just to cover the quality of the wood. And he also started renting this fiddle also to fiddlers. But the experience was very bad. There was quarreling and fighting every time that they played on the Black Fiddle. So people started to think there was some mystery about the fiddle also. And he decided not to rent it out. One day in the 1820s, 2 famous fiddlers came to Fleskåsen and wanted to buy both fiddles. This was Andersen Stubstad and his son Nils Stubstad. They wanted to buy them both, and Søren was glad to get rid of especially the Black Fiddle and the responsibility. Nils had the same experience with the Black Fiddle. Every time he played, there was quarreling, fighting, and difficulties. So he stopped playing the Black Fiddle. But then, in 1851, there should be a very great 3 days wedding at Greipesland. And the father of the bridegroom, he wanted both fiddles. They should bring both fiddles. Well, Nils refused, But he was so well paid that he consented. The wedding went normally on, and the people, they enjoyed it all, the dancing and drinking, all that. And there came a lot of visitors in the evening, the first evening. That was from all places, and all of a sudden there was full of people everywhere. And they asked for Nils must play. And he came out and he played with a brown fiddle. Everything okay. And then the bride said, you must come and play inside. And then people started to cry. The black fiddle, the black fiddle, we must have the black fiddle, the black fiddle. And so Nils, he had to go in and come out with the black fiddle and start playing. And Nils intended to go inside. Two guys from Spikeland ran up the steps and crisped him by the chest. And he tried to protect his fiddle, but they threw him down from the steps. And down there they started to jump on his chest. He cried out, and people began to cry out, murder, murder, murder. And they left the place in all directions. And the people inside, they came out to see what was going on. And they took Nils with them inside. And he died there shortly afterwards. And he asked one question, the fiddle, where is the fiddle? And they went outside and they came there. There was not a trace from the fiddle. This gave the opportunity to talk about the sorcery of the fiddle, even if it was a devil or other spirits in background. It was mysterious that it had disappeared in that way. I grew up with the descendants of Fox-Søren, and I heard hundreds of times the story of the mysterious disappearance of the fiddle. But I did not believe it. I thought this fiddle must be somewhere. And wherever I was on a performance, asked it at the end, have you heard anything about the black fiddle where it is now? After I had given up hope, I got a telephone call from Svartefela, and he said, I know where the black fiddle is now. It is the cellar of Olsdatter in USA. I was very excited, and I started a cooperation with Svartefela to persuade Dottie to send the fiddle to Norway so we might see it. And so she did. And one afternoon in the rain, Sverre came with his car and opened the trunk and also the coffin. And I saw the black fiddle for the first time. It lay down, and I had a very, very sad feeling. It is dead. It has no sound. So there I decided to have it restored. And Sverre, he talked with Dottie and got the permission that we might restore it in the the workshop of Øystein Rød. He is a famous fiddle maker, and under my persons, we took the fiddle in 62 parts and glued it together. And then we discussed with if we should only use the authentic parts of it. We were tempted to replace the middle with better material, but we didn't do it for historical reason. We wanted even if the sound was not so good, it was the very historic fiddle, the Black Fiddle. The story of the Black Fiddle spread through all the great newspapers in Norway and Sweden as well. And I got telephones from east and west. There was a Swedish theater company. They wanted to make a film out of it if I consented to be a consultant. And so they did. And God never, my most talented pupil, he asked me, shall we make something out of the Black Fiddle music? And so we made 2 CDs with booklet with the music. And this was very special. And the king's family started to pay attention to it. And as Kronprins Haakon and Kronprincess Mette-Marit visited south of Norway, they wanted to meet me and hear the fiddle. So we agreed that they should come deep in a forest near Lauvsland and meet me there. There I stood fiddling, and she came. And all of a sudden, she stretched out her hand to take on the fiddle. And I yelled out, this is not a lucky fiddle, luck-bringing fiddle. So Haakon tried to hold her back, but done is done. And 2 kilometers away, the first accident arrived. Later, I've seen a lot of incidents, and I was glad when I could send the fiddle to Dorothy. She told details about how it was that it came into her possession. The half-brother of Nils the fiddler took the rest of the fiddle with him. And his son moved to USA, and it was stocked in the cellar of the Lauvsland family at Black River Falls. And that was the rest of the story. And Dorothy has given or disposed the fiddle in Vesterheim. So I'm very glad for that. And I could perhaps give some advice. Better not to touch it.
I remember the day when the ship was to sail. I remember that I felt so proud. On the deck we were standing and waving our hands to the kinfolk somewhere in the crowd.